Why your unimportant accounts matter. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Ask Leo is free in part due to the support of my patrons. To find out how you can help, what you could get as a patron exclusive bonus, visit askleo.com/patron to find out more. So I get pushback when I suggest that people increase the security of all their accounts. Not for all of their accounts. Most people understand that there are such things as really, really important accounts, like your banking account, your primary email account, and so on. Where I get pushback is when I suggest that accounts that you might consider to be unimportant are still worthy of extra security. I want to explain why that is and why treating in what you consider to be an unimportant account with less than good security can in fact turn around and bite you, sometimes bite you hard. One of the comments I often get, especially when it comes to email accounts or even banking accounts for that matter, is I'm not a target, I have no money. Well, it's backwards. Remember, the scammers, the hackers, won't know you have no money until they've broken into your account. So it's important still to keep that account secure. Even though you might think they have nothing to steal, and they do, I'll get to that in a minute. It's important to understand that how much you happen to have in an account has absolutely nothing to do with that account's desirability. If you consider yourself to be poor and just have nothing to offer scammers, you are still at risk, perhaps even more so because you probably don't have the resources that other people do to recover from some of the potential problems that might still head your way. I don't use this account for anything important is another thing that I hear often. And while that's initially often very, very true, that doesn't mean that it still can't cause you a problem in the future if that account gets hacked. What really happens, and I see this happen over and over and over again, it's happened to me, is that an account you initially create as unimportant, maybe even a throwaway account for some reason, becomes important at some point. But because it becomes important kind of as a side effect of how you're using it, there's no point in time where you say, oh, I'm now going to make this account important and I better increase the security. It happens slowly, incrementally, over time. So we never really think about, this has crossed a threshold. There is no threshold. We don't think of a threshold. So the fact that you created the account with maybe no recovery options or very poor security doesn't really come to mind until the account has become important and it ends up getting hacked. So always treat an account as if it's going to become important and at least put some basic security in place. Now, the problem, of course, is that everybody doesn't understand why their accounts would be so important. And it actually turns out to be very simple. Hackers may not want your money. They may not want your contacts, although in both cases, there are hackers out there who want your money if you've got it. They want your contacts if you have them. They want your information if you have it. They want access to your bank accounts if that's part of what they can get at. But even if you don't have any of those things, what hackers really want is to be you, to look like you. Because the better they can impersonate you, the more likely they are to be able to pretend to be you. The more likely they are to cause identity theft. Now, that's a scary term, and it should be scary, but I don't think a lot of people really understand the ramifications. In the long run, you can recover from identity theft, but the road to recovery can be incredibly painful, no matter how much you have or don't have to lose. The problem, of course, is that hackers will assume your identity, and they may use accounts you don't care about as a way to prove to someone else that they are you, and then establish credit records in your name. Take out loans, open credit cards in your name, run up credit on those credit cards, not pay them. And because it's in your name, it all comes back to you, and you all of a sudden become responsible for this theft, this fraud on a credit card that you didn't even know you had. That's why it's so incredibly important to keep all your accounts secure as is practical. Now, am I saying that you need to have multi-factor authentication and all this other stuff on all of your accounts? No, we don't have to go that far. But please, please, please do exactly and at least two things. One, use a strong password. There's no excuse not to use a strong password. Use a password vault, use whatever works for you, but don't use simple passwords. Don't reuse passwords. That's how hackers are getting into a lot of accounts these days. And the second, take the time to set up recovery information. When I hear from people who are trying to get into their account and they can't, it's because their recovery information either was never set up in the first place because, it's not an important account. All of a sudden it is. Or they've not kept their recovery information up to date and they simply have no way of proving that they are who they say they are. So do those two things at least. Sure, consider something like two-factor authentication or whatever additional security you think is appropriate, but make sure for every account, be it important in your eyes or not, set a strong password, set and maintain the recovery information. It's as simple as that. For updates, for related links, for comments and more, visit askleo.com/95510. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.